Like Slay the Spire is just like, it could have been anything really, but Slay the Spire to me was the game where I played it at a, you know, just a regular casual level and saw just how high the skill ceiling is when I started watching creators like a Baylor Lord and Jorb. And then once I found Zeknar, I was like, oh my god, the depth of this game is so deep. Is so deep. And even the way I'm playing, I'm thinking about probably things that 90% of players don't think about. But even me, I am so far from being a top player, like one of the goats. And that to me is both like a little demotivating of like, wow, I put so much time and I'm still not even close to the best. But at the same time, gives me so much more to look forward to try to improve, to strive to learn. All right, real quick 30-second introduction to this video. I'm trying to make a Slay the Spire video, and in the meantime, I want to get some practice in to try to explain Slay the Spire at least at a high level. That's kind of the goal of my video. So just as some background, I play Slay the Spire on the hardest difficulty, Ascension 20 with the heart. That's like the most difficult thing you can do in a run. And my stats right now are kind of boosted because I do save scum here and there, but overall I've, you know, beat Ascension 20 heart on all 4 characters, and my most played character is Silent. Here it says I have a 23.4% win rate with, yeah, without the saves coming probably more closer to like 15. Defect and Washer, I only play on the phone actually, so let's just get straight into a run. So I'm gonna just make this video assuming you already play Slay the Spire. So if anyone's like a complete beginner, I'm probably not gonna explain everything, but I'll try my best. So I'm gonna kind of make this like a Jorb's kind of over-explained run and just try to talk about a couple concepts that I think are important before we even look at literally anything in the map, the cards, anything like that. Something to note about Slay the Spire that I think is very important, at least at the high level, is that this game seems pretty random. There's random encounters, random fights, random events, random elites, random bosses, and random cards. But everything exists in a limited pool. So in reality, you're not really trying to create a deck that can be the most optimal synergies in a vacuum, but you're trying to build a deck that can perform in these specific situations. So in the game, there's different bosses, there's different elites, and those are very important. To get stronger, you want to take the harder fights. Off the bat, the first thing you should really do when you start a run is to check what the boss is, and it's the Guardian. And there's 3 different bosses per act. And the Guardian specifically is a boss that tests for consistent blocking, because his mechanic is that he goes into his little porcupine shell, and if you attack him, you take damage. So you can't just burst him down, but you need to block his attacks there. So that's something to note. And the other bosses test for different things. Like Hexaghost is a damage race. By turn 7, he'll try to kill you, and the fight will pretty much go out of control if you don't do enough damage by then. Slime Boss is about getting a good split, a lot of burst damage, also AoE is pretty good, and also like dealing with weaken and frail. So having like a good fire potion or something, or attack potion, or like a good like burst turn. Next thing is the Neow's bonus you get in the beginning. Overall, I would say there's some pretty good bonuses and some pretty bad bonuses. These are all kind of not the greatest, but not also the worst. And to determine what bonus you should take, it really comes down to what are you trying to do? What are these bonuses actually doing? So if you try to think about it in like kind of expected value, and then also like what's in front of you, right? What does obtaining a random rare card actually do? In order to really determine which one we should take, we have to think about like, what do these actually do? What does a random rare card do on average? And like, what are we trying to hit? On average is a case, and then like the best case, worst case, right? So if we were to actually sit down and try to think about it, which I kind of do this from time to time just on my own, what are the silent rare cards? Like, what are the actual outcomes here? I pulled up a tier list where we can like see all the different cards. And on average, if you think about it, it seems like it would be pretty good. Random rare card, right? Rare cards are the most uncommon cards, and they can have the biggest difference in your game, like the direction of your game. These are like game-changing cards. So if we think about like, what does this actually do for us? We also have to look at what is our map? What is our boss? Like what are we actually looking for here? So a couple things to note is that we want to take elites because they give us the best rewards, the most gold, the relics, and also just in general will make us stronger compared to a regular fight. But it comes at the cost of like health. Usually you take more damage. But in an ideal world, you take as many elites as possible in every single act. So on the right side here, we can see the most we can get is 2. This one is 3 if we take this path, but it's also pretty scary. It's like a forced path. When you try to decide where you're going, try to look for the elites. Also, campfires before an elite can be the difference maker of taking like 30 damage and like 10 damage. And if you get like a good like damage upgrade, then you can kill them before Gremlin Knobs does 24 damage. Silent's a little difficult. I would say Silent has the biggest problems with dealing damage. So you really need to find ways to deal damage in the early game, especially Act 1. That's pretty much all Act 1 is just can you deal more damage than the enemies? And Act 2 is similar too, but you also have to find other block engines. But Act 1 is really just about using your base cards, adding some stronger attacks if possible. And I think it's very important to think about like long-term versus short-term decisions. Because like I said before, like this game is finite. So you have to take a pretty mediocre card just to get past the elite, so that you can get relics, so that you can get better cards. And the more fights you see, the better card rewards you get, or the higher chance to see a rare card. It allows you to start the snowball of getting strong. And if you try to think about it that way, every single time you take a weaker decision or a less risky decision that has low risk, low reward, that is almost always the wrong decision if you have a good chance of surviving. So like I was saying before, the early game is really about dealing damage and finding ways to kill a gremlin knob. Like that's like Silent's worst enemy. So if we look at this tier list, what cards actually help us with that? What are the rare cards that actually help? I would say Adrenaline's just good as a card overall, but like Bolt On doesn't really do anything. Maybe it's like C tier. It's like can be good later on, but it's pretty bad right now. Die is like okay. It's like just does damage. Afterimage is good later on, but like not great right now. Like Afterimage like specifically against the heart or with like huge discourse energy decks is really good. Alchemize is really good, but once again doesn't solve Gremlin Knob. I would say it's really good though. 1000 Cuts does damage, but it's not the greatest. If you upgrade it, it's pretty good, but requires you to have other cards that work well with it, like a Blade Dance. A single Blade Dance would be really good with it. Burst, again, also not very good. Something like this. Like, of course, I didn't spend too much time here, but maybe this goes up a little bit. Maybe something like this. So if we actually look like 50% of the time, or a little bit more actually, like we're getting cards that don't really help us. And then 50% of the time, we're getting cards that kind of help us. And everything that S tier, maybe I should put some up. Like Wraithform is just an S tier card. Alchemize is just an S tier card. But there's not that many hits that are good, but there is a potential to high roll here, which is very important to think about because if we're not getting a lot of value here and we're not taking hard fights in the first place, we can take this gamble to try to hit, let's say, a Wraithform, and like we're just good later on. But on average, we're probably getting something bad. And if we have to have something to guarantee us a Gremlin Knob fight, this is probably not the option to take. On the other hand, we have the 3 random potions, which once again, there are damage potions. So if we're fighting a Forced Elite on floor 6, which is the earliest that Elite can spawn, this would probably be not bad if we're forced to take it, if we don't have any other options. Once again, Silent literally cannot beat some elites with the base deck. Like Lagavulin, it's like literally impossible. So like if we need a damage potion, like attack potion, fire potion, or whatever. And potions are very, very important. I guess to talk about potions very, very quickly, I can probably talk about it more. As you go up in difficulty, as every fight becomes more and more unfair, your chances of making it out alive of Act 1 and Act 2, and specifically the elites, the bosses, and let's say even the heart at the very end, the secret final boss, are just unfair. And the only way to have an edge, to guarantee some sort of consistency, and to ensure that you don't just die in some of these fights, you need potions. On earlier ascensions and difficulties, I think getting like Sozu, the boss relic, is not very bad for most players because once again, you're not really thinking about, oh, I need a Ghost in a Jar for the heart's first cycle because you're taking like 57 or something like that, and that's just almost impossible when you're frailed. Or I need an artifact potion for that vulnerable. Or let's say against the Spear and Shield in Act 4 as well, like I want a Gambler's Brew or a draw potion to deal with the turn 2 of only drawing 3 cards basically. There's like specific scenarios where these potions are very, very good and where they strive. And for most people, it's hard to know what potions are good in what scenarios without playing this game for like hundreds and hundreds or even thousands of hours. So I think as you get better at understanding what fights there are and what kind of solutions you need to those fights, potions become so much more valuable. And when every resource is so scarce in Ascension 20, you only have 2 potion slots. You have less health. Enemies have more attack and the harder attack patterns. Potions become so important. I think genuinely without potions, like so many more seeds are just literally unwinnable. Like genuinely, like probably half the seeds you play are just like unwinnable. But like with potions and like with even with these like crazy conditions we're in, you can see Zeknar with like 90% win rates on like every character. So those are 2 options. Potions, once again, we are not exactly forced to fight elite because we have this path, but we don't want to take that path. Thinking about like a shop into like only 2 fights in elite, like we're not gonna be very strong. But so this left path is probably more what I'm trying to do, but it also depends what we get from this reward. I think optimally, if we could, best case scenario, we would take this 3 elite path, but this is burning elite, which can be very scary. Max HP Lagavulin or Gremlin Knob or even sentries, very, very scary. Or especially like sentries with like plated armor, things like that, pretty hard to deal with. So that's something we have to look out for, and that's something we can decide right here. If we see a path where we can beat this eventually, we should do that. But otherwise, this left path is still pretty scary because we don't have an option at this point. Like, we have to fight elite. If we have like 10 HP here, we're gonna die if we go into that fight, most likely. So here is also another pivot point where if we say the run is going horribly and I have a way to brute force through this, we can take this fire. Oh, never mind. There's just forced elites everywhere. So for forced elites anyway, I think this left path to try to get more fights, maybe a shop if we want to here to try to find like a good potion or something if we don't take this, or like this path, get some at least 3 fights, because the first 3 fights are easier in the easier pool. So we're not going to take that much damage, although that's not true on silent. There's sometimes you first draw worm and take like 30 damage. That's happened to me like once or twice. It's horrible. But there's also this other option right here. Choose rare colorless card to obtain, -6 max health. And this -6 max HP is actually probably one of the better ones, because it doesn't actually immediately make us weaker, because we lose 6 max HP, but it goes to 60, right? And we have 59 health, so it actually doesn't do anything right now, which is really good, because the problem we're facing right now is this elite, or this elite right here. Once again, we said we could dodge it, but that's probably not a great option. So finding solutions to the problems right in front of you, but once you find those solutions, also thinking about solutions for future problems. Like, I'm thinking about how do we beat Gremlin Knob, but how do we also beat the Guardian? So let's say Gremlin Knob, if I'm trying my hardest to just beat Gremlin Knob, I would take every single attack, no matter how good or bad it is. But by the time I get to the boss, I might have like 5 extra attacks, no block cards. And by the time I get there, I'm not going to be able to block against this guy. So I have to be wary of, I need to take enough attacks where I can fight this guy, but at the same time, also not too many where I cannot beat this guy. Another thing to note is, like, since he has thorns and reflects back damage when you deal damage to him, cards like Blade Dance are actually worse against this guy. But it is just a good card overall for every other situation, I say. So if you can get Blade Dances, it is good for like every other fight. But for those 2 specific fights, we have to be wary and try to find other options. All right, so the rare colorless card to obtain. Once again, there is a pool. And if we actually look at the different options, I think, once again, most of these rare colorless cards are not very good. Transmutation is not very good. Thinking Ahead doesn't really do much. The Bomb is situational, but it does damage, at least. Secret Weapon, Secret Technique, not very good. Panache, not very good right now. Sadistic Nature, not very good. It's like, can be okay. Metamorphosis, not good right now. Mayhem, not good right now. Magnetism, not good right now. Crystal's not good right now. But since we can choose, if we see an Apotheosis, this run is just like online. Like, the chance to win the run if we get Apotheosis right here just goes up by like 50%. Like, I would say like drastically, like maybe even more than that. It goes a giant, huge bump. Hand of Greed as well. Very, very strong card. 2 mana, 20 damage is just a carnage, right? It's just a lot of damage. And big damage cards are important against fights like Lagavulin, which reduce your attack. So your shivs go from doing 4 damage to 2 damage to 0 damage. But Hand of Greed goes from 20 to 18 to 16. So you can still kill Lagavulin even if he reduces your attack. So if we see either of these 2 cards, we're in a great spot, actually. The Bomb is situational, but it's like a B tier right now. Like, it can save us this run. So honestly, just because of those reasons, I would take this. And I took the option off screen, but we kind of low rolled. And we'll see what happens. But that's kind of what Slay the Spire is. It's like trying to understand the expected value decisions and have as many opportunities to high roll. If you just have 100 opportunities to get either like a pummel strike or a dagger throw or a shrug it off, that's good, but I'd rather take like 5 chances at getting a Wraith Form, getting a Apotheosis, getting the cards that will win me the run, right? That are good now, good later, instead of taking a lot of mediocre cards. And that's something to note. If you're trying to get better at building your deck, you have to think about, like, this is your base deck right now. What is the average power level of your cards? How much do your cards cost versus how much mana do you have? If you have more energy, you want more draw, right? Because if you have 5 cards in your hand but 10 mana, then like you can only utilize that mana so well. So either you need cards that do more for a single card, or cards that draw more cards so you can play more cards, right? So if you have like infinite draw here, but only 3 mana and only the base cards, let's say you could draw your entire deck every turn, it's still not very strong. But if I have like you know, let's say like accuracy blade dance, right? And then I could draw that every turn. That goes from, instead of 6 damage for 1 mana, that's like 30 damage with an upgraded accuracy. So like your card quality is very important, which is why like once we get into more cards here, I'm probably gonna be skipping a lot of cards after I start getting some damage cards. So off the bat here, I think between these options, Secret Weapon really does nothing, and if anything is kind of bad against both Gremlin Knob and this fight, especially because we don't really have any attacks that we want right now. So like right now it doesn't do anything, and it doesn't really do much later on as well. Silent is a very skill heavy character, I would say, and we can think Chrysalis, right? Chrysalis has a pretty strong effect if you get lucky and get good cards, the 3 random skills that show up. But on the turn you play it, it's 2 mana do nothing. 2 mana do nothing, wait for you to draw those cards. And if those cards are bad, you're also diluting your deck with bad cards. So the high roll potential is there. I would say there are some fights, like if you have this for like the heart, or like a fight where you don't have a solution to something, it could bail you out. But right now, it doesn't really do much. Against Gremlin Knob, if I draw this turn 2 or turn 3, it's just a dead card. Transmutation, on the other hand, I would say does something right now. I could get 3 random cards if like the other cards in my hand aren't doing much, and I can play them this turn. So I'm probably going to take Transmutation here. This is a pretty interesting spot, but I think, once again, this left path probably still worth taking. I think taking this just for the shop to see if I can get like a fire potion, a flex potion, buy like a blade dance or something like that, or like just an eviscerate for some damage, just more options at the shop, pretty good. I would take 4 combats here as well, because every single combat is another chance to see 3 cards, and those 3 cards could be the difference between having damage, having not having damage. I keep saying this, but genuinely Act 1 is just all about having enough damage. And taking question marks, you might just lose health, you might do nothing here. So if you try to fight this elite here with only 2 options versus 5 options, yeah, sure, you're gonna take damage here, but if you play the micro well, you're not gonna take too much damage from the first 3 easy hallway fights. By the time you get to the advanced hallway, maybe you have like decent amount of stuff from these 4 fights to like, get you to a spot where you don't take that much damage. And if you don't take that much damage, you can upgrade here. Instead of, let's say, going here, and then upgrading what? Your neutralize? Like, what is that gonna do? Like, you're just dead to Gremlin Knob. So this is probably the path I'm gonna take. This is a little scary, but I can always rest here and then rest again. And that's kind of the worst case scenario. There is a chance I just get nothing good here. I have to rest. I fight this. I might barely get out, heal, and just die to one of these 2 advanced hallway fights, and maybe fight a 3rd. But you have to judge risk versus reward. You have to judge how much risk you're willing to take. Because, you know, if we did take this right path here, let's say like this, something like that on the right side, how do we actually build the deck? How do we gain resources, gold, potions, relics? We're gaining only 1 relic here, and we're going to shop with 99 gold, so it's not gonna be that good anyway. 3 question marks could just be like remove a card, gain 11 gold or something like that, like do nothing and then do nothing again, and then like we have what, like 3 fights, once again, like 2 or 3 fights before this elite. That's pretty scary. So let's just go on this path for now, and we can decide. I think the left path probably is better just overall anyway, because we got the campfire here, so we can upgrade an attack card or something like that, but we'll see. Oh, this is the floor 1 elite. So I'm assuming you've played this game before, but if not, very, very quick overview is that you have energy every turn that gets replenished. So I have 3 energy every turn. He's doing a specific amount of damage. I can block that, or I can do damage, and my turn goes first, and then he goes. So here, I could play this, for example, Transmutation, try to get some colorless cards, but probably I would just do 18 damage here, take the 7. You have to take damage sometimes to try to kill them. You can see your draw pile, your discard pile. Once you draw through all your cards, discard pile goes in your draw pile, and you reshuffle. So I can see he's not blocking next turn. I'm probably going to draw 1 or 2 attacks and probably kill next turn. If not, it should be fine too. All right, pretty good. We got a draw potion. All right, we got 2 attacks. So these are both pretty good. Outmaneuver doesn't really do attacks. It's good later on, Act 3 or late Act 2. Both Sneaky Strike and Blade Dance are pretty good. At least in this specific spot, I would take both of them if I only had the option to. I think Blade Dance overall is just a better card, has better synergies. Sneaky Strike, if we had another Dagger Throw or like a Prepared or like any more discard synergies, it would be really good as well. But 2 mana, 12 damage is just like playing 2 strikes right now. It's not actually that much better, but once again, having big cards against like Lagavulin or like just like the single card value effects is pretty important. I'll probably just take the Blade Dance, just synergize as well with like a bunch of different things in Silent. Like having an accuracy run just like is like one of the easiest ways to win if you just get Blade Dance's accuracy and then maybe it's like an after image or something. Pretty good. Chop. All right, so this is a pretty good chop to just like look at and like try to explain my thought process here. So if we look at these 3 cards right here, these 3 I would say all three of these are very mediocre. These cards I would not want in my final deck. Even though there's poison synergies, something to note about Silent specifically and poison, I guess I'll talk about, is that poison stab does do a decent amount of damage early game, and it is a necessary pickup sometimes. If it's like right before an elite combat and you need just that little bit of extra damage, I would take a poison stab. But like, we have a blade dance here. Like, why would I ever take poison stab? But if you have poison synergies, it also can work with that. I clearly don't have poison synergies. I already have blade dance, so accuracy, if I have a second blade dance here, would be really good. But poison stab, if you think about it, right, there's something called artifact later on where if you try to add a debuff onto an enemy, it actually doesn't do anything. It just removes a stack of the artifact. And if you think about it later on, poison stab is mainly just a strike you add to your deck that says like remove one artifact, because the 3 poison actually doesn't really do much either. If you need to build poison, like, you'd rather just play 1 noxious fumes and it just adds like 20 poison over the course of the fight. But once again, poison stab, if you need it to just not take that extra 24 damage against Gremlin Knob and die, can be good. Deadly poison, once again, similar, but even worse against Gremlin Knob because it's a skill and you're taking extra damage. But once again, deadly poison can be pretty good against the Guardian. Poison is actually really good because you don't have to attack. I said before, blade dance is actually not as good, but I think the immediate threats right now, it's still good against. And there's a strength potion here as well. Once again, I'm emphasizing how important damage is. So like, I can buy these 2, and honestly, that's probably what I'm gonna do. But there's another option, Well-Laid Plans here. Well-Laid Plans is a very, very good card. It's probably an S+ tier card for Silent, but it doesn't solve our immediate issue of how do we not die to the elites. Even Leg of Loon is like very scary, and if I fight Leg of Loon, I'm probably using the strength potion. But Well-Laid Plans probably is like when running later on, it's just highly improves consistency. You can hold on to your Wraith forms, you can hold on to your Phantasmal Killers, hold on to whatever. But for now, we can take these 2. There's also card removals. Something to know about card removals is that it doesn't actually make your deck stronger. It just condenses the cards that you have remaining to be more prevalent. So, you know, if you have 15 cards versus 40 cards, how often are you likely to draw 2 or 3 key cards? If you have 15 cards, very likely in the first 2 or 3 turns. Pretty much guarantee in the first 2 or 3 turns. But if you have 40 cards, you might not see like a key card until turn 6 or 7. And by that point, you're probably dead. So it's actually like the smaller your deck is, the more effective a card removal is, because the difference between like an 18 card deck and like a 20 card deck is much more than like a 40 card deck and a 42 card deck. It's like those 2 cards in an 18 to 20 card deck can like improve consistency of drawing a specific card in the first few turns by like 5 to 10%, instead of like later on it's like 1 or 2%. Maybe wrong math, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. So I'm gonna take the strength and the blade dance here because damage is so important. And once again, this is not very good against Guardian. So I think at this point is probably where I'd stop taking more blade dances and look for other ways to block and deal damage in like big goes. For now, let's just take the fight. I'm gonna hit that guy to try to balance the damage out a little bit. Unfortunate that I didn't draw any blocks, so I have to take 12 here, but it's kind of how it is sometimes. Alright, not the greatest taking that much damage, but it's alright. So we got 3 potions in 3 fights, which is really lucky, actually. Potion chance goes up and down based off if you see a potion after a fight. So if you see a potion, the potion chance decreases by 10%. So it started off at 40%, then 30, then 20 now. If I fight the next guy and I don't see a potion, it's going to go up to 30, and then 40, and then 50. So poison potion's probably better than draw potion right now because we need to do damage. Ooh, okay. Like I was saying before, how am I going to block against the Guardian and do damage? Because we said that Blade Dance is not very good against him. Dash, though, is pretty good. It does 10 damage and 10 block, which is pretty good against him. Also, 10 damage just in general and 10 block. It's pretty good early game. Also, it's an uncommon card. You see the blue here. So it's less common to see than this card. And usually it's stronger, the higher rarity. Not always. But in general, like, if you have 2 cards about the same, the uncommon one, you probably won't see again. Or less likely to see again. So it's probably better to take. But that's not always the case. But something to just, like, think about. Alright, so, like, here, once again, the reason Blade Dance is pretty good is because it's 1 mana for 12 damage instead of 1 mana for 6. Also synergizes well with other silent things. Silent likes to play a lot of cards sometimes. And now we have the choice to take these cards. So since we're doing a lot of like physical damage, Terror is actually pretty good against Like a Balloon, against Gremlin Knob. against the Guardian as well. Against any like single target fight, this is just really good. So it'll be good against the Heart too, compared to Sneaky Strike. Deflect might on paper seem not that good, but this card can be really good as well, but just not in our situation right now. It's good, especially when you have a lot of draw. Zero cost cards are good when you have draw. The bigger cards are better when you don't have draw. If you can draw 10 zero cost things and play them all and draw more zero cost things, it's really good. But like in this scenario, we don't really have any draw and like the dexterity as well. This can be 0 mana, like 9 block. Let's just take the Terror. So here's the situation where we can split this guy. This guy splits in half into 2, and then the remaining health he has are what the leftover slimes have. So I can full block this for 18 and see what I'm going to draw next turn. Next turn looks better. He's going to be vulnerable anyway. I could split him right now and do 6 times 3 because he's vulnerable, so it does 6 instead of 4, 150% damage. 6 times 3, so 18 damage, so he'd be at 23. But if I just wait one more turn, I probably put him lower than that. Not by much, because I was actually weakened. But another thing to think about, like, I could just play this on this guy because I want to kill him, but like, I'll probably be weakened next turn. And what are the thresholds looking like? My shifts will do 3 damage, my strikes will do 4. So if I draw 1 Blade Dance and 1 strike, I can kill 1 guy. Let me just do it, and I don't think it matters too much, but I'll just get rid of these cards. Yeah, nice. All right, another potion. Okay, wow. We're getting pretty lucky with the potions right now. But it's not the greatest to see them back to back because their potion chance will be really low later on. All right, duplication potion is like a rare potion or uncommon potion. But like we don't really have too many cards to duplicate right now. Maybe Dash would be our best card to duplicate. Lay Dance if we need it. But I think I'm just going to keep these 2 potions for now. Like, both of these, I would just use turn 1 against Gremlin Nub. Okay, and we see the Welly Plans again. Never punished. And once again, these 2 cards not very good, but Welly Plans would be good. But in this case, if Welly Plans wasn't here, I would definitely skip this, because these 2 cards do not really help me out right now. It just clogs up my deck with cards that don't really help me beat Gremlin Nub consistently. But Welly Plans is just so good that it's worth taking no matter what. You can see, like, I have a mod. I've taken it 56% of the times I've seen it, very high. Here's a situation where we are before this elite combat, and we could say I have 37 health, I might take damage, I want to rest, but we have a campfire afterwards as well, where we can rest after the fight, and instead we can make ourselves stronger to increase the likelihood where we take less damage anyway. You know, against sentries, we might take an extra less 10 damage just because we kill them off in a certain threshold, or Lag of Loon, like 15 less damage, or Gremlin 24 less damage. So, few things to think about. The base cards are not very good. You don't want them in your deck. You want to remove them anyway, so don't upgrade these. Neutralize can be good, but not right now. We want damage. Welly Plants is very good, and honestly, it might just be worth taking, but it doesn't actually help us that much against Gremlin Knob. It helps us with like every other fight though. I think we'll do pretty good against Gremlin Knob. Honestly, if we're very scared, we can upgrade Dash. We can upgrade a Blade Dance. Terror also is not a bad upgrade with the re-energy, because say I draw Dash, Blade Dance. I would want to play Terror Dash Blade Dance, but I can't do that with only 3 energy. And honestly, I might just upgrade that Terror right now, because this is just very important to play. Welly Plans is a good upgrade, but I don't need to retain 2 cards most of the time. Terror is probably what I would do. Okay. So we set against this guy. I'm probably going to go use the Strength Potion, and I probably still will do that. But the Terror is less likely, but I think I'll just take a lot less damage. If we wake him up this turn, I'm likely to draw Bash and Neutralize and stuff next turn or the turn after. So we can wake him up on turn 1 instead of, usually he's asleep for 3 turns and then after that he wakes up. But if you break him right now, he'll wake up immediately. But we get a lot of damage right now. Yeah, like I said, take 0, which is really good. All right, so we can do 24 and then use this potion to kill him right now. But I am still, or we take 15 and maybe some more even from here. I think I'm willing to gamble for this transmutation. Okay, well, didn't really do much, but we take 15. I can heal next 4, which is calculated. Maybe it's cope, but I think this potion will serve us really well later on. Here's another situation where we see a rare card. Unfortunate that it's unload, but if we needed, 1 mana 14 damage is really good at early game, but I don't think we really need it. It's not really a necessity. We already have 1 mana to deal 12 damage, 2 of them. Dash as well. If you have discard synergies as well, it could be okay. I'd say with this kind of discard synergy, it also works better if you have draw or things that work well with discard synergy. Infinite Blades, if we need damage, once again, it's pretty good, but Not pretty good. It's passable. It can work, but in this fight, as I've been saying, shivs are not very good against the Guardian, and it doesn't do a lot of front-loaded damage, which we need for Gremlin now. Front-loaded damage being damage you do right away to end the fight as fast as possible. Against bosses, you kind of cannot rely solely on front-loaded damage. So here is a situation where I would skip this and heal, because we have 2 advanced combats and then the elite. So hopefully we get something good. Strike dummy, not my favorite, but it basically upgrades these 5 strikes. Not bad. Definitely worth taking. Ooh, these do 9. So I can do 13 if it's vulnerable. So I can kill one of these guys that are attacking me right now with terror. Maybe defend and then transmutation, or I can just strike, defend. And honestly, the strike defend probably seems better. It just guarantees. Maybe I should have played the transmutation there. All right, we'll only take 3. And not bad for an advanced hallway fight. Okay, these are all pretty good options, actually. So footwork on its own is a pretty good card, pretty solid card that can single-handedly create a block engine for you. Block engine being a way to block the bigger attacks later on, whether that's like multi-attacks or big attacks or multiple turns, you know? It's a scaling card. You invest 1 energy, 1 card draw to get 2 dexterity for the rest of the fight. So against like the Guardian, it's really good. Backstab with Silent specifically, it's really good because you draw 2 extra cards, and you're probably in the beginning of the game not playing all 7 of those cards. So just making one of those a card that you can always do 11 damage is really good. On other characters, this would not be as good, but specifically Silent, Backstab is really good. Eviscerate as well, if we need damage, great card to just do damage, and works well with Discord synergy. We don't really have that much Discord synergy, so I would probably not take this if I had like a dagger throw and I had a sneaky strike and like a prepared, maybe between these 2 options. And the question really is like, can we greed to take this? Because this would be really good for the Guardian, but Backstab would be really good right now. And to be honest, I'm a little scared, but I'm not too scared. I think we can be a little greedy here, but this might be our downfall. We have 1 potion for the Gremlin off fight. It's a little scary though, but I'm willing to take the gamble. I think footwork, it's just drawing Backstab and terror on turn 1 is just so strong compared to drawing footwork and like random cards. It doesn't really do much. As much as the footwork is so important, Backstab might be the difference maker between making it out of these fights alive. Let's say here, it just lets me do 11 to one of these minions. This guy does a lot of damage on the 3rd turn, but nothing for the first 2, so. Okay, these are all pretty trash. I already talked about these 2. Riddle with holes doesn't really do much either. 2 mana 15. We already have 1 mana 12, 2 mana 10. If we had like a lot of strength, it could be okay, but like usually it's not worth taking on Silent. 2 mana to invest in an attack card is just not very good. Okay, perfect. Wow. Okay, here is a situation where you can either heal for 20, take 5. 5 at max HP would be like the greedier play, but I think we have an advanced hallway fight coming up next after that too. Probably just worth take the 28 health here, because if we do win both of these fights without taking much, we can just upgrade here instead of healing. And usually the Guardian with this deck might need to heal. Our block is not very good. Depending on how tough I think this fight will go, I could strip an artifact and then terror, because killing one of these outside sentries are very, very important. Honestly, I think it's probably worth the use right now. It could also be good to split the Guardian on turns when I need it, but I'm not too worried about the Guardian, to be honest. So let's just try to kill one of these as fast as possible, because this fight can get really out of hand on Ascension 20, because they had 6 days per turn, more than a full hand's worth of dazes later on. Probably kill him right now, actually. Should be in the clear after this point. It's 22, 25. Can I kill? Probably not. So let's just do damage to this guy. And next turn guaranteed to full block. Yeah, probably not going to take any more damage this fight. That was a really good Sentries fight. And our Sundial's on 2. So yeah, usually with every elite fight, you're trading HP and resources like potions for relics, cards, and gold, which is why on average, you know, you want to take as many elites as possible. And that's goes for the same thing for like regular fights, because events can literally just do nothing. Events can literally make your run worse actually. So the expected value, at least from just a normal encounter, like a normal fight or an elite fight, is just so much higher. But there's situations where events are really good too. If you need to remove, if you need to find a shop, if you need like a out and you can't take a fight, it could save you the run. But when you start off, you know, you want to take as many consistent opportunities to make you stronger. Here, I'll probably take the backflip. It's a good card later on. Also, with like well plans and things like that, you can draw into the cards you want and hold them. So I'm gonna take this. All right, pretty good. Once again, you can see like with a lot of front loaded damage, the way I'm building my deck, we can kill them pretty fast and also block. We might have, oh my god, we might have an issue in Act 2 because using defense to block Act 2 is pretty sus. But this adrenaline is just so good. It's just basically when you draw it, it's just gain an extra energy and an extra card basically because it takes the place of this card. This will just give us that front loaded ability. It's not good for like long fights and things like that. Like it doesn't win you fights where you have to scale, but it lets you be more consistent. It just creates a lot of consistency and extra power. So we can upgrade something right now. And next fight we have here is the Guardian. I think long term, Welly Plan's upgrade is probably the one we want the most. Adrenaline's also decent. These other ones just kind of are just more stats, which kind of fall off later on. But like it is still important to upgrade these if you have, let's say, like an after image or a shuriken kunai or a accuracy or envenom or anything like that. So like these probably are more worth the upgrade than like a dash, but I would say Wally Plans, Adrenaline are the two main ones. If we need more damage or backstab for that little bit of front loaded damage, but I think we're good on that. Wally Plans upgrade is probably just like S tier. The only consideration I think here is if we get Runic Pyramid, then like Wally Plans doesn't really do anything. Runic Pyramid being the one where you retain your hand every turn anyway. Another thing to consider is the boss relics you might get. Fusion Hammer is pretty good relic that makes it so you can't upgrade anymore. And if we do have to take that, then we want this to be upgraded. I'd rather have this upgrade than Adrenaline for the rest of the run, right? So those are just some things to consider. And I'm not too worried about this fight. We have 45 HP, we have this Dex Potion if we need it, and we have Wally Plans, and we got the Terror turn 1, and we could probably split him right now, probably. I probably messed that up, but that's fine. Maybe I should have backflipped to look for the Wally Plans, but it's fine. Oh, okay. Transmutation, saving HP. All right, well, a lot of energy for a whole lot of nothing. This is what I mean when you have a lot of energy and no draw. This is what kind of happens. You just kind of waste your energy. Blind is actually doing a lot of work here. I can split him right now, and looking at the draw pile, it's probably fine too. It's probably fine as well to not split him as well, and to hold these two cards. This fight looks like it's going pretty well. Once again, we can split him here, or just wait a turn. I mean, I'm down to just wait a turn. And back to blocking. And he's at 33 HP, so we can probably kill him right after this next cycle here. It might be worth attacking right now and take a little bit of damage to guarantee that we can kill him next turn, but we can also do the math right here. This is going to be our next draw. Backflip might draw into another attack anyway, and we can hold strikes. So if we hold 2 strikes, they do 13 each, and then this will probably kill on top of that. It's 13, 13, 26, so we can block. We don't have to attack here. I mean, we can block if we want to, but we can kill next turn. He should wake up. And we could try to progress our sundial, but I think we just get out of here. All right. Okay. This is a pretty good run so far, I would say. We only got 2 elites Act 1, but we got pretty good cards. We got an upgrade Wally Plans, we got an Adrenaline, we got After Image here, which gains you gain 1 block per card. So these Blade Dances just give you 4 block on their own. Terror, Neutralize, Backstab, Adrenaline, all these actually give you block. So that's a definitely yes. The other 2 were Class Knife was okay, and I don't even know what the third one was. It wasn't even very good here. All right, so out of these 3 options, right, Busted Crown, probably just game losing on the spot if you take this. It gives you an extra energy, and if we're really struggling, it could, if we have the cards that we need already, or the relics that we need already, that are game winning, let's say like somehow we got Catalysts, Noxious Fumes, Bouncing Flask, or whatever, and like 2 Wraith forms and like Acro Tactic. Somehow Pandora's Box for like a swap, maybe it's okay. But like seeing 2 less cards every time just like makes the expected final deck we get so much worse. Just seeing those 2 extra cards every single time, so important to getting the cards you want. And once again, every single thing is just a limited pool of options and fights and encounters that you have to have specific answers to. And making it so you see less cards makes it so, let's say for multi-attack fights, I just see less Piercing Whales, so I might just not see a Piercing Whale for the rest of the run. And that makes it much harder to beat Book of Stabbing, to beat even like the Heart or Spear and Shield or whatever, or even the Birds, you know. So I probably would never take Blessed Crown here. Probably Skip is stronger than Blessed Crown. Ring of the Serpent is pretty much a nothing. You draw 1 every turn instead of 2 at the beginning, which like it's not nothing, but like in terms of power, it makes you like just a little bit more consistent. And if like all you need is consistency and your deck is already set up, it can be good. Like it's not amazing, but it can be good. But like we already are drawing 2 cards. We lose our original relic. So if you get this on top of it, I would say it's really good actually. But you know, the 2 cards that we draw is just over 2 turns. And then on turn 3 is where you get the benefits. And it's actually worse on turn 1 because you draw 1 less on that. So Calling Bell is probably the one I would take here. We don't really need that much energy. We have an Adrenaline. We have 0 cost cards. The Curse is annoying, but we also have Darkstone Payout. So it's actually as bad as getting a Curse is. We actually get 3 relics and 6 HP. And the relics can be really good. Like getting an Anchor, getting an Incense Burner, getting anything like that. So let's take it. Okay, pretty bad. Ceramic Fish. Doesn't really do anything, just gives you gold and like 9 gold per floor at most, unless you get like an orrery actually. Frozen Egg could be good. Powers we're looking for probably include Wraith Form, Noxious Fumes maybe, accuracies, things like that. Captain's Wheel is pretty good as well, later on especially, Act 3 and 4, because most of the later fights, I think in terms of game design, they make it so they at least give you 1 or 2 turns to set up your deck and your relics and everything, because otherwise the inconsistency of just like randomized drawing is really bad. So most fights later on, the big attack is on turn 3. If you think about like the Heart, or you think about like Reptomancer even, or turn 2 or turn 3, I'm saying. So usually turn 1, they don't do much later on. But so like right now, it's actually okay. It's definitely still really good, but yeah, just like improves consistency. A way to look at how to win an Ascension 20 Heart run is just thinking about like your cards and your relics. There's a lot of decks that are based off of your cards. Let's say you have a Bouncing Flask Catalyst, which you just put like 100 poison. Let's say Burst Catalyst or something. And like that's all you need. That's a way to just win from your cards. But let's say you have like Sharon's Ashes, or like all the one where if you discard a card, you deal 3 damage or something. Like that just makes it so your relics let you play in a completely different way. So there's some relics in this game that can just open up new ways to play the game. Things like Orange Pellets with Bias Cognition on Defect. But for the most part, most relics just improve consistency or improve long-term run value. So like Ceramic Fish right now does nothing, which is pretty bad. But like later on, like, you know, I might get like 50 gold from it, which is still pretty bad, but like it does something. Frozen Egg just makes me stronger in the long term. This one kind of just bad overall. Strike Dummy, although it's pretty bad overall, especially on silent, it did deal an extra 3 damage, maybe 4 with Terror for every single strike. So it actually does something early game. Sundial can be good with silent later on, but with a 24 card deck and not much draw, it's not doing too much right now, but can do a lot later, and also can set up infinites, let's say on like Ironclad. All right, so once again, Act 2 is starting. The first thing I look at is the Collector here. The Collector, one thing to note is he puts like 5 debuffs on you, or all the debuffs: frail, weaken, vulnerable. So something you have to note is like just playing defense to block really bad against this guy. So you need either a lot of dexterity, you need artifacts, or you need like Afterimage, which we have. So it's actually pretty good we picked up this Afterimage. Afterimage also for early fights in Act 2 also frail you as well. So once again, these defense kind of are useless. Not useless, but pretty horrible to play for 1 mana, especially with we only have 3 right now. So our goal is to be as efficient as possible to just kill the enemies right now without taking much damage. And we're willing to trade HP to kill them a turn or two earlier, so that we take that 22 less damage on each of those 2 turns. So we're willing to take like 20 damage one turn to prevent them from doing like 40 damage later on. Pathing here, we have Force Elites no matter what, and we have early shops on both sides here. We could try to get the Burning Elite out of the way, which is a little scary on its own. I think we should be okay, hopefully. And if anything, Act 2 combats are very, very scary. Act 2, the first two are the easy pool fights, and then after that are not. So taking like a lot of combats here is actually very scary. I would want this shop if possible, or this shop, probably the earlier shop, just to see, and maybe something like this, and then we could decide which way we're going. Probably the right path here, and then we could decide from here which way we want to go. If we need sustain and upgrades, we go right path. We are confident and we can farm for gold and cards and relics left side here. But yeah, taking 2 easy combats into 2 hard combats right now is pretty rough. I would be much more comfortable going this way and maybe like this. But you know, once again, how strong are we actually? I think we are relatively strong right now in terms of like front loaded damage, but not strong enough to just blatantly just take these things. You know, I think we could get strong. So I'm gonna take this left path. This, yeah, once again, this Burning Elite path right here, even if we do win, we are forced to verse 2 or even 3 or 4 advanced hallways. So it's not very safe on this right side, even if we do go that way. So I think this left path allows for flexibility in if we want fights or question marks, and also an extra shop if we need it, or a campfire before this elite, healing or upgrading. So I think this path is probably the best. Ooh, so here's a scenario where the early Act 2 fights are very strong and punishing. It might be worth the even like potion here, to be honest, because our potion chances are reset, and I might just potion here. We have a shop coming up, so I'm just gonna play something like this. Maybe I didn't even need a potion, but with after image, actually, we might have been okay. That's fine with me. 6 cards I can full block without playing dash. Okay, I think the potion. Oh, I couldn't full block. But saved us a couple HP, but we got another potion as well. So if we had like a 10% potion chance, I probably wouldn't potion if we're about to go into an elite, but you know, we will see potions as well here. With 3 energy, Predator is kind of hard to use. This deflect is also pretty good, I would say. Upgrade especially. If we get more draw with aftermath as well, it could be really good. I'm gonna take this because it's basically 7 or 8 block even for 0, which can be really good. Ooh, a Dolly's mirror. If we were to mirror something, it would either be adrenaline or after image. And I think this piercing well we're buying no matter what as well. I think I would pay 163 gold for another after image or adrenaline. The question is which one. I think adrenaline would make us more consistent, but after image can be game winning against the heart especially, and just like I think we are playing a decent amount of cards per turn. Maybe not right now actually would be the best, but against like a lot of these like frail people, maybe another adrenaline is just worth paying money for. I think another adrenaline is probably just better for now. And none of these, the rest of these are kind of just bad cards in general. I think between these two, I think we could take the fights. I think we could take the fights. I think on average the fights are, like I said, more valuable. Against the birds, pretty good. Lets us knock them down. Think we can just transmutation this turn and see what we get. I don't think we want to hold on to that. I think I want to. Oh, maybe I should have held it. Ooh, that's a mistake. I forgot I had Wally plans. Holding those two could be really good to knock them down, but I think it should be okay either way. But where are our blade dances? I'm gonna hold the neutralize just in case we need to knock down someone, and I could always use it on this guy if I need to kill him. Think we can knock down this guy. Maybe I should have vulnerable the right guy actually. Um, um. All right, pretty good fight. We should be out here with pretty free now. And we set up our sundial too. All right, poison potion. How important is? I think double plated armor is actually pretty good to use together because they stack on top of each other. So you got 8 damage per turn, 8 block per turn, and then 7 and 6. So I might just keep these two. The poison potion right now, damage is very important, but I think a fire potion would be way better than this. Front load damage to kill the back slaver. Once again, there's different elites here, and the three elites that we're gonna fight are the Book of Stabbing, which is like a damage race and also dealing with multi-attacker. Gremlin Leader, which is dealing AoE and like killing the smaller minions while also being able to block his 57 damage attack sometimes, which is kind of cringe. And then the Slavers, which killing the red slaver immediately is probably the most important thing. This fight, you want to kill this first guy first. If you kill the back guy, he will get really angry and kind of kill you. So let's do that. I might have made a mistake. No, that's fine. If you keep damage to the front guy, this guy will always heal most of the time. So we can just keep killing him. All right, should be a pretty simple fight for the rest of this. All right, okay. So Flying Knee. It's just a very mediocre card right now. It does give energy, but it's just basically, if you think about it, you could try to think about it. It costs 1 energy, gain 1 energy next turn, so like 0 mana, 8 damage. It's like still not a very good card to put in my deck. Blade Dance, we already have two of them. I don't think a third one really makes sense because Blade Dance is good right now, but it's not like game winning to add like a third one, you know, and we will want cards later on that are very good. On the other hand, Escape Plan basically is just extra card that might give you free block, and we also have After Image as well, so like it's an extra block guaranteed. The only scenarios where this is kind of bad is like against Time Eater, but overall it's just really good here. Like it's just, I mean, it's not maybe really good, but it's just not bad. All right, well, we got 85 gold for a relic, and we don't have a shop coming up. We could get this curse here with like this, but I don't think that's worth it. If we had a shop coming up, maybe, but even then, I think we're willing to pay that. Mummified Hand. That is really good. More mana cheating. So at this point, like we have a lot of ways to generate energy. We don't really need a fourth energy at this point. A lot of zero cost cards, a lot of adrenalines, escape plan, terror, neutralize, backstab. We have sundial, we have mummified hand. Like we don't need a fourth energy anymore. And at this point, do we need an upgrade? Do we need an upgrade or can we take this fight? I think if we take this elite now, one, it lets us have the flexibility after to take an elite or another elite or a campfire if we need. And I think that is just very important because I feel pretty strong right now. So I think we could go end up taking 3 elites here unless there's like a specific upgrade we need, which I don't really see right now. Maybe an adrenaline upgrade, but we already have a lot of energy otherwise. I don't think we need to get relics and more gold. So here I'm keeping the neutralize for next turn just in case. Your E goes to 15. I can block most of it. Maybe I should have held the adrenaline for next turn, actually, because I can block fully this turn. Maybe that was a mistake, but that's fine. Either way, we found another adrenaline anyway. So something to think about here is like we can draw 2 and then 1, and we only have 2 cards left in our draw pile. So we can draw 3. Something to think about is you can shuffle in cards to your discard pile before you draw again. So if I play the deflect and then I draw, it'll shuffle the deflect into my draw pile again, and then there's a chance I could draw it again. So let's say the strike and the curse of the bell, I'm not gonna redraw those because I'm reshuffling my deck right now. So for now, like a dash is pretty good to reshuffle in, a deflect's not bad. So I could do something like this and then see. I'm still taking damage. I think we might be able to kill next turn with like blade dances and stuff. So I'm gonna keep these two and 13, 13, 13. Okay, maybe that was a mistake. Now that I think about it. Didn't draw any of the blade dances. Transmutation could just bail us out here, but how much do I trust that? Not that much. I think it's better to just take the damage. But we should be able to kill next time for sure. Alright, take some damage. Should be able to kill. Alright. I might have misplayed that. Okay, Preserved Insect makes this interesting, because here I was going to go heal into this elite fight, and I might still do that because there's a lot of other things here as well, but otherwise, I could also go this way, take this elite fight early, re-evaluate here, and then take the campfires for the safer path, because this left side, honestly, the regular fights might be just as dangerous as elites, to be honest. Maybe not always, but like triple cultist and like, you know, the chosen and all that could be very scary. So I'm down to take this right path. I think with 35 and 2 potions, I'm down to take this. And once again, this would be really good if I had a shop coming up, but without it, I am not willing to take a curse. What's the damage here? 12 plus 11, 23, 32, 40. We should be able to kill this guy like this. Could have played Willow Plants there, but I think we're going to be out of this fight soon enough where I don't need to. 10, so we can kill this guy. Maybe I should have shuffled stuff back in, but it's okay. All right. Okay. So all these, I mean, these are upgraded powers now. Powers actually have mummified hand. It's not that bad. Caltrops specifically against the heart would be good. For everything else, kind of pretty bad. Infinite Blades, we said, is pretty bad, and Outmaneuver is pretty bad. So I would skip all these again. Speed Potion, probably not worth it. Our block generation is usually through after image, so it's not like we're getting much value from the dexterity. I haven't used these two. Maybe I should have for one of the fights, but I think that's fine. Strawberry or Sapphire Key. This is something I'm still like figuring out and like testing out on my own. Like, I think the strawberry genuinely might save us here and like might allow us to take this extra elite. So like it might be worth to just take it over the key, even if it's something worth later. But this is a common relic. It's not doing too much compared to if we get like an incense burner in Act 3. Then we'd rather take that than the key. So how much do we value 7 HP? To be honest, I think we're fine without it. I think we can take the Sapphire Key and try to get a better relic later on. But it's close to me right here. Like, I think Strawberry is consistent. The Sapphire Key allows for high rolls later on. And I think we need some high rolls later on to actually beat the heart. So I'm going to take the key for now. And here, 35 HP. If things go south, we can go this way instead of here and then here. But I'm down to take an extra elite unless there's an extra upgrade we need. But I don't see an upgrade we need. Might have been worth to use the potion here. We take one to have the potential of redrawing Piercing Whale. I think so. Yeah, these potions probably will be really good to use. I'm kind of holding on to them for no reason, but here's an example where it's good to use that, but I kill them anyway, so maybe I should have just used it before. Noxious Fumes. See, Noxious Fumes on its own isn't great, but it opens up options. It opens up the options against, let's say, like Time Eater, right? You can only play 12 cards. The Shivs are not a great option to win that fight. So taking a single Noxious Fumes, a single Bouncing Flask or something, or Catalyst, things like that, could be the way we win. If we're really struggling damage, Choke could be really good right now. But I like the Noxious Fumes upgraded. And here, are we willing to take the risk here of 2 extra fights plus this elite with 14 HP? Because we just fought the Book of Stabbing, or no, we just fought the Slavers, and we didn't take much damage. There's a chance we die if we go to this fight here. But with Preserved Insect, it's actually not that bad. I'm down to take it. I'm down to use the potion here. And take 2 damage. We could use this to get adrenaline, or if we just draw it naturally, it'll be fine. Can we kill next turn is the question, really. Probably not. Or can we? 13, 13, 26. It'll do 26 plus 3, 29. This will do 15, 29 plus 15. No, but it's the best we can do. Take 5 more damage. Ooh, not looking so hot, but all right, a burst. Burst could be good. Acrobatics could be good as well. I think the burst would be really good actually with a double adrenaline. I'm gonna take a burst. All right. All right, pretty good. All right, so prepared with our after image is not bad. The one thing to know about prepared is that it's actually draw negative or draw neutral. Like it takes up a card you draw in your 5 cards per turn. You draw one, discard one. So it's +1, -1. So it actually replaces prepared when you draw, and you discard one that you choose. So it's actually better when you have actual draw. This is not like a real draw card because it only draws one, it just replaces itself. We have adrenalines though, and I think it is pretty good with all of our base cards still here. We do want to start removing if possible. I think prepared probably is not bad here. I would take it. Okay, we have 2 more fights with 7 HP. Some survivability potions here. Maybe black flip first. Adrenaline. We can piercing well. Do I need to potion here? 23. 23 goes down to 8 and 3. 11. I don't think I need to. Am I willing to take 1 damage here? Do I need to take 1 damage here? That's the real question. With no well plans, might be a little sus. Oh, he's in 14. Oh no. That's a misplay if I've ever seen one. So, oh my god, these strikes are so bad. But we can at least do a decent amount of damage here. The Pandora's box would be so good here. And all these cards are kind of bad. Finisher is actually interesting to think about. Maybe the extra Blade Dance would have been good. It's good with more draw, though. I don't have enough draw is the real problem. But yeah, after my main damage, I don't really have too much damage. It might have to be a finisher angle. I mean, it might be good. It might be good. Like, let's say I have a turn, I go double adrenaline or something. And let's say best case scenario, right? I play 2 blade dances. That's 6 times 6, 36 damage for 1. Might be what we need to beat this fight. And there's no need to play these two because we can hold them for next turn. We can weaken, maybe draw the vulnerable and also finisher. So this, if we do 5 attacks, it will kill it. So we could actually do everything else on this guy and do perfect lethal on that guy. Oh my god, the wheel is saving us. Sadistic nature. I don't think it's worth playing. We can't really kill him here. Definitely keeping it producing well. Burst could be good too, or deflect. Let's go burst. Hopefully we draw this adrenaline. Oh my god, he's not attacking. Holy moly. Oh my god. Thank the Lord. Alright, this is the turn we wanted. We could hold it a little bit longer, actually. Try to get our sundial. I doubt it's gonna work, but we could test it out. Oh, it's not gonna work. He's gonna die anyway. Snecko oil. Okay, took a little break. Where are we? Oh my. Okay, I don't think any of these cards are good in our deck. Sucker Punch could be good against like the Awakened one specifically, but we also don't have a lot of draw. Snecko oil could save us here. Maybe it's better than this plated armor here, just as that out. I think we definitely need a rest. 22 HP going into this fight. Not looking so good. Okay. 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 We'll see. Willing to spend both potions here to get through this fight because, okay. Holy moly. Nightmare of the Adrenaline. 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 Oh my god. So if I do 7 attacks, I have 7 attacks in my hand, it'll be 1 off lethal. So I need to put 1 Shiv into one of these guys. And then the rest can go into him. I have Noxious Fumes also. Let's just start doing damage to him. Might want to kill this guy though. I'm gonna do damage to him. Alright, take 7 here. The burst adrenaline play is actually really strong. He's gonna resummon probably soon. I need to kill this. It's doing too much damage to me. I need to do 16. If I do 4 attacks, I kind of want to keep the neutralize though. I can just triple strike him, but he might just resummon next turn. I think I could do something like this. Oh, he's not resummoning. Oh god. Okay. Well, I have to kill it this turn. Probably will burst adrenaline this turn. Do I want to reshuffle? Probably do want to reshuffle. He's also giving me block. Ooh, okay. This is a lot of damage. Probably worth playing. I could always Snecko oil here as well. Let me play the Blade Dance and Finisher. Okay, 39. I'm gonna run this. Oh god. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 extra block. I'll be at 32 plus 11, 43 exactly. I mean, no matter what, I'm playing these. Saw so much damage I'm missing out on, though. This might have been a mistake. I should have played this first, maybe. But I'm dead if I play this, right? 43 again. Am I dead? He didn't resummon at all. Even if I did all that damage last turn, it would have been like 6 times 11, 66. Wouldn't have mattered anyway. Well, I think we're dead. All right, well, that's unfortunate. But even though we didn't get through and we didn't win, maybe this path on the right was kind of troll. If I thought about it a little bit more, maybe I should have taken the more safe path like this. But overall, I would say this kind of run is a pretty good representation of how I play the game. Clearly, here and there were some mistakes, but as a whole, the pathing, the resource management, I'm taking specific cards for certain fights, like Piercing Whale for the Book of Stabbing, Adrenaline's energy management versus draw. Unluckily, I only saw one acrobatics and I didn't take it because I think I took something else over the acro. Maybe I forget exactly what I took. I think it was the Piercing Whale, but it was close. It was close. Genuinely, if I probably could have used my potions earlier so I could have saved more HP. I also took extra HP like throughout, but this video is just trying to explain how I think about the game and the framework, I think. And even though, yeah, I'm still not the best player, I'm still losing. Like, if anything, it's more expected. Like, I should be losing 80% of runs anyway. And to die to the Act 2 is pretty scary. It's probably the hardest act in the game. So this is honestly, if I got past here and got like Pandora's Box, this would be pretty much over, to be honest. Or just like in general, picking up some more like ways to block, some more ways to draw, especially because the adrenaline and everything like that. We got kind of lucky with the nightmare, especially zero cost nightmare, zero cost adrenaline, and even that wasn't enough. So it's still a lot missing, still a lot I could have done better. But that's like the beauty of this game, is like I have like 1,000+ hours in this game total on my phone, on the computer, on everything, and there's still more I could do better. The relics could have been better as well. These are not the greatest relics in the beginning of the game. This is not a very good relic either. This is a fake relic. I mean, not fake relic, but it's more of a duplication. These two didn't, there was no shops in the second half anyway. To be honest, like if I had some better relics, probably would be in a much better spot. But the card quality was really good, like the double adrenaline after image, the burst. If I could upgrade, maybe it was worth to just go to the campfire just to upgrade the burst, but that's about it. I am making this because I'm trying to make my Slay the Spire video, and I think I'm just trying to do anything to help verbalize my thoughts and get my head in the right place to figure out what I want to talk about. But I think the gist of it, I think if you made it this far, I'm very surprised. But just understanding that everything in this game and in any game and in life as well, I was talking about like rare card tier list, right? I was talking about how this is the tier list for floor 1 random rare card on silence. That's not necessarily the case for this specific situation. Let's say like in that specific situation right before that fight, like Phantasmal Killer, I mean, most of these are kind of around the same, but Burst goes here, Nightmare goes like here, Malaise probably not as good, but After Image goes like here because of all the synergies with the shivs and everything. Wraithform's still here, Corpse Explosion goes probably up to like here. Another Adrenaline probably wouldn't save me there, but it's still really good. Maybe like Doppelganger Venom might go up too, actually. Like Glass Knife goes down, Die goes down, Unload goes down, Grand Finale goes down, 1,000 Cuts actually is alright. Storm Steel is not good. Tools of the Trade probably better than these. Bullet Time probably also not good with the re-energy, probably like here, or Malaise probably still better than these just in general. Something like this. So like in every situation, I think you have to think about like what is the best decision in that specific scenario. And I think at the end of the day, that's kind of what I want this Slay the Spire video to really be, and like what I want to talk about, of like getting good at Slay the Spire has made me a better like gamer. It's made me a better decision maker, a better leader, a better like making decisions in my own life, like weighing the pros and cons. What is the best decision for me right now? Even if other people are telling me that this is the thing that really is important in their life. It's focusing on yourself. Like it's kind of funny and cringe a little bit, but if you think about like, oh, is it better to go to school right now to increase my long-term gains, or work a job right now to increase my current quality of life, be able to save up enough money so that I can do that. And like in Slay the Spire, it's the same thing, right? Instead of school versus work, higher education versus like a part-time job, it's like front-loaded damage and scaling damage. Like we got to the point in life here where we were trying to make it, but at this point we kind of ended up with like a sociology degree. Actually, that's not true. Our deck was pretty good, but like the draw mark is not looking so good in this case. Yeah, overall thoughts. This is the try hard way to play the game, and this is kind of the part of the game that I really find find fulfilling and rewarding when like you find like these scenarios where you have control to an extent, but it's about navigating this like extremely barren wasteland that is Ascension 20, where every single resource is so important and you need to be so optimal in every decision. And I think because of how high the skill ceiling is for this game, you can really look at top players, and let's say like Zeknar, right? I mentioned him before. He's like the GOAT. And when he spends time, it's like, if you want to be truly optimal, runs can take 10 plus hours. Look at Life Coach, right? But like that guy literally spends like 8 to 10 hours per run, you know, which is crazy, but he's optimizing every decision. But you also have to think about like optimizing your time. Time is also a resource, right? In like learning and getting better and becoming the best. If, like in terms of like a win streak, maybe it's not as important, but like even then, it's like we're kind of playing the odds of like some runs are unwinnable. Some runs you cannot really, even with more thinking, plan ahead for the worst case scenario. So like more runs, playing a little faster to lower your win rate by, let's say, like 5%, but increase your speed by 25%, let's say. Like that is pretty big. So there's like so much to think about if you're trying to be good at this game, and it carries over to every part of life. Like time is a resource as well in life. Like I want to put time into getting really good at the skill, let's say like knitting or sewing or crocheting, like let's say, or like basketball or golf or bowling or even anything like that. It's like those kind of skills are things that you need to put the time into if you want to get good. And getting good at something isn't as important as you might think for a lot of things, but for the things that you're truly passionate about, I think for me personally, I feel a lot of fulfillment when I can look back and say, wow, like I've come so far. And like Slay the Spire is just like, it could have been anything really, but Slay the Spire to me was the game where I played it at a, you know, just a regular casual level and saw just how high the skill ceiling is when I started watching creators like a Baylor Lord and Jorbs and all those people. And then once I found Zeknar, I was like, oh my god, this game, the depth of this game is so deep. And even the way I'm playing, I'm thinking about probably things that 90% of players don't think about. But even me, I am so far from being a top player, like one of the goats. And that to me is both like a little demotivating of like, wow, I put so much time and I'm still not even close to the best. But at the same time, gives me so much more to look forward to try to improve, to strive to learn. Since it's a single player game, this is a game where like there can be competition, like let's say win streaks, and at the top level, top players are pretty competitive in that way. But at the same time, it doesn't have to be. It is something where you can save scum, you can cheat if you want to, and that's fine. Like there's no real risk to doing that. There's no competitive integrity or real for 99.9% of players that you're really breaking here. It's like, how do you want to play the game? I want to play it where I optimize and try to be the best, win on the hardest difficulty. But you can just play. I just say I like my big block deck where I body slam with 999 block, and that's fine, and that's totally fun and good as well. And I think that's kind of just life. Slay the Spire is just life. Maybe that'll just be like the gist of the video. But yeah, it's like just an open world in the way where you can approach it in your own way. But it really does allow you to have fun in a casual and competitive way, where you take games like, let's say, on the extreme end, like competitive like gamblers or like slots tournaments, where it's like there's no skill, no edge to really gain on your opponents from like just playing more and like the experience. Like you can't get better at that game. So that to me, it's like, what is the point of competitive slots? It's just like gambling, right? And gambling, maybe I'll make a whole video about gambling and randomness and things, because I just played a poker tournament recently. I won like $500 there, and not from the tournament, but from a cash game after. I busted from the tournament, but that's poker. And I think it's really cool to play a game like this and see how it can influence the rest of my life, because genuinely I feel smarter and more confident, and yeah, just from playing this game, which I hope that other people who like these kind of games can also see. And also I also hope like you or whoever else like finds that in this game or in any other part of their life, because honestly, it's like this game is almost zero mechanics, basically zero mechanics. I think entirely zero mechanics, and all like the mental. It's all processing information, analyzing based off of your past experience, based off of like the conventional norm, and then breaking that norm when it matters. Like I think that's like how you get better at literally at any game, any skill. It's like you should ask people or watch people that are better than you and try to adopt their mindset. And I think the mindset's the biggest thing. Like if you take a player who just like one-to-one copies a player, let's say a top player right now, and never learns past that, never experiments, never tries to challenge these ideas ideas of like whether this card's good or not, and like finding when is this card good or not. Because like literally, like I'm saying, like most cards in the game are good in some specific scenarios, some more than others, right? Adrenaline's probably good in like almost every single deck, but like the finisher here I took is probably only good because I have double blade dance, you know, and draw and things like that, and examples like that. And yeah, in life as well, it's like you have your own path in life. You can do whatever you want to and treat it however you want to. And if you do want to take it seriously and do things that other people might not agree with conventionally, like that's up to you to figure out. And that's how I've been going about my life recently. So wow, this is some nerd shit, holy moly. But yeah, that's how I approach games, and maybe I'll like do some more games like this. I play a lot of Tetris. I've hit masters in TFT, like many sets. I don't know, play a lot of Hearthstone. So like a lot of these like strategy games, at least I have a good time like verbalizing my thoughts, and like I have a lot of fun like really trying to optimize this kind of thing. That's probably about it. Editing this down might be annoying, but probably just try to do that quickly. Okay, gotta keep working on this video. This is kind of the first step. Not really writing a script down, but just getting some ideas out there and thoughts. Let me know if you want more Slay the Spire content. Maybe I'll make some more beginner guides, but whatever. All right, see you.